is to scare the hell out of them. I don't want what happens to our park happen to your parks. So let's have a show of hands. How many people now have a professional management company running their park? And I mean that it manages more than one park. Oh my goodness. That's about, what, a third to half the room. How many people have a large corporate, big owner? We're talking that owns 10, 15, 20 parks running their park now. It's about the same number. The reason is that it starts with the professional management and it can then spread onto the large corporations. So I just wanted to get an idea of how many of you are already under some of the same situations we're under. Because once you are in one of these huge corporate portfolios, the chances of becoming an ROP go way down. They're not going to sell you their park. So if the first thing I can do to help scare you today is those of you who are still in the mom and pops or still not under a huge corporation who work very hard, go home and have some sleepless nights, maybe thinking about how you can prevent these large corporations from coming in and buying up your parks. Because if you don't, the chances of ROP will go way down, and the chances of ROP go way down, so there's chances of other things like failure to maintain lawsuits, getting rent stabilization ordinance, because these guys have millions of dollars to devote to fighting your ordinance, and they have a strategic plan to do that with. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the overhead now that everyone's out of the way and wait for it to work out.
Your screen should glow.
Now, this is like a 4-hour, maybe an 8-hour course. There's a lot going on here, and I have lots of slides, so I'm going to basically just skim over the top of them and hit the highlights and skip them, and where it's important I will point out to you, where you should focus. So don't try to follow me, because this is really written for more of a coursework kind of presentation, and this is just an hour and a half at the most. But we hope to have Q&A at the end, and I can maybe answer you some questions that we found out. Now, this is mainly my story. My background is a troubleshooter, and I worked as I was a volunteer president of an investment club. So we studied businesses, and I like kind of finding out what the real cause of problems is. So for the last 6 years, I've been peeling this onion, tears and all, finding out, well, what's, certain things aren't happening right, so what's the problem? You peel the onion, you find out, oh, there's another problem that's causing that. And you peel that part of the onion, you find out there's more. So this is kind of like what we found out so far. And it's something that I hope will help you, because when you go into your city council, when you go to your, try to get rent stabilization, or you talk to your representatives, or you even talk to your park owners, knowing some of the stuff that we found out here about these large corporate owners can help you say the right things at the right time and not go in begging for help like so many of us have done, throwing ourselves at the press, throwing ourselves at the city council and saying, help me, and what we're really saying to them is, I have a problem, please figure it out for me and provide a solution. And that's not going to happen. You need to tell them what you want them to do. And you may even have to go further and start forcing them to do what you want them to do. And to do that, you need to have your own solution to your problem all worked out. And GSM Law is really great at helping you get those solutions. And I think some of these big picture items, these big picture strategies may help you too. So first thing is, if you want to be updated with the latest, greatest from me and get copies of these slides and things like that, you need to fill out the sign-in sheet. We're passing it around, and put your email on it. Please put your name so we'll know who's associated with the email. And if you, there should be a pin, and get it on there, and then I will get you on my mailing list. Because we did not print out 120 copies of the slides that would take too long. So we can email them now. Okay, So the title of this is definitely something that should get your attention. Why your park will be sold, eventually closed, why stop it, and I'm going to talk some strategies on how to do that. Who am I? I'm actually just the president of a homeowners association in DSML Chapter 235. I've worked with Mary Jo Baratek since about 2012 when we first very scaredly invited them to a dinner at Mimi's restaurant because we were scared to have them come into the park. And her and Ray Downey sat down and introduced us to DSML. You can contact me at this email here. There's my phone number. Although most of it's going to go to recording because I get so much spam, and I will call you back if you ID yourself. I'm on a couple of committees, and they tried to stack more committees on me, and I said no. Because this particular subject that I'm doing, the predatory parks, takes time and effort, and if I get pulled away and diluted, as I have seen other people do, I'll become less and less informed about what's going on. And until I feel like I've got a point where I can write a book or something about it, I'm going to not do any more than this, and actually it's a little more than I expected. I will apologize in advance. I did not do a spelling check on that. This is a down very crude but effective presentation because I wanted to just get the information out to you and give you the content, and so please try to overlook all the mistakes and errors. And the idea is to give you a map so that you can see, this is the big picture. This is what's happening across the U.S. with parks and investors and things, and you can say, I am at point A on this map, and I want to be at point B, and here's all the obstacles, towns, valleys, and mountains in between. I want to try to give you that because I felt like I did not know that when I first started. And I have the experience that a lot of people have when they go to the press or they go to the city council, and then they get thrown a curveball. And they come back and they go, well, I don't know how to handle what they said, you know, so now I need to go figure that out. So we go figure that out, and then we go back and get another curveball. And so I want to eliminate all those if possible. I want you to understand what they will tell you and what you will say back, and have a strategy going in, and you will know sometimes much more than they will. So you can start to guide your city council, hopefully. So, I don't know everything about all this. There are attorneys and there are experts in the room. We have Tim Sheehan, we have Mary Jo Baratek, which have a lot more experience than I do and have been at this a lot longer. But as far as getting a map out, I think we can do that today. Okay. One of the things that I learned is go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you'll be able to see further. So do not be afraid to try things out. Do not be afraid to make the effort. Because once you get that next mountaintop, you'll see the next valley and the next mountaintop. Don't be demoralized or depressed by your efforts to make changes. Missed one there. The other thing that I think going into your press or your city council that I think should be made clear to them right at the beginning, they don't know anything about this. This is the most complex form of housing possibly on the planet. There's so many governmental agencies involved, and there's so many nooks and crannies to it that you need to tell them right off the bat. You don't know this, and you need me to guide you. Because if you don't guide them, where are they going to go? Well, they'll go like our city manager said. Well, you know, I'm going to go ask Vicki Talley at MHET. They told that to us when we met with our city manager. She knows a lot of the answers to these questions, and she'll help solve the problems for you. Well, MHET is a park owners advocacy group, and it's one that the predatory park owners have built for themselves because apparently WMA won't even have them. So this is, because this is a kind of a presentation, I'm going to be putting a lot of references in and links so that you know I'm not just making this stuff up. I'm going to skip over them. We all know that Carl Levo is a master of city planning. If he says it's a complex form of housing, he probably knows exactly what he's talking about. So let's start out. Mercury News, plan to replace mobile home park with townhouses advances. By the way, did I tell you, there's a sign-in sheet, keep it passed around. So there was a plan to replace the mobile home parks with townhouses in advance. This is not unusual. Here's the reference to it. Mary Lou Clark, owner at Blue Bonnet Mobile Park in Sunnyvale, president of Blue Bonnet Residents. This committee told the City Plan Commission that the 8 remaining tenants have faced difficulty finding affordable housing, especially with the displacement costs that we have received. There's just not any available, she said. This is typical. Let's skip the details of that. Here's another one closer to my home. We will be adrift again. War veterans, refugees face uncertain future with the sale of their Little Saigon mobile home park. Now, unfortunately for that, I contacted Mary Lou. I contacted Mary Jo, and she said that that particular park has a mobile home park closure ordinance. Started me thinking that one of your best protections besides rent stabilization may be getting a mobile home park closure ordinance that is well written, which will help protect you to some degree from some of the predators. There is no one final solution for this, but multiple things put together should help you. So, lucky for them, they do have an ordinance and they will get some kind of compensation for their grief. So we'll talk about that more later. This was an article from 2015 in March, and it was from the Peninsula Press, Stanford Research, I believe it was, and it was California's affordable mobile home parks are vanishing. And they go on to give statistics about the fact that it says here in the last decade, 4,792 mobile lots in the state have vanished from the map, according to data from the California Department of Housing and Community Development, with even more expected to disappear. Affordable housing is like the spotted owl or tiger. If we don't go out of our way to save what we have, then we will lose it forever, said Will Winter Dillenbach, founder of the local community groups, Friends of Buena Vista. So here's a map showing where the parks are disappearing. You can see it's mostly in Southern California, but up in the Bay Area, the populated areas. Now that's an interesting idea. It's in the populated areas. Well, why is that? How many of you have been in your park for over 10 years? Oh, wow. How many? 20. Okay. Has land value increased since you moved into the park?
Oh, yes.
Has there been more development in that community since you moved into the park? Okay, what we did when we calculated when our park was bought in 2011, the park owner, the new park owner, Court Scott, who runs a management company called Sierra Corporate Management, paid $33 million for the park. But a neighbor came up and told me I should have known this. He said, well, if you take every 2 of these lots and bulldoze the home and put a single-family home in there, you could probably sell them in Orange County for as much as $1 million. Well, we have 192 lots. So about $96 million in homes, and we only paid $33 million for the park. But remember, we're talking bare land. So we gave some compensation. I just did a, see the pants figure, that they could turn that park over. After paying $33 million, they could get $58 million for it immediately if they could just get rid of those homes. They could just get rid of those people. This is probably the major factor behind the closure of parks and the predators coming in trying to fight against these parks. Sooner or later, that land is going to be worth more money. And all they have to do is figure out a way how to get you off of it, clear those homes off of it, and in the meantime, they're making a lot of money raising rents, but then they can also sell the land for an extraordinary profit. These are fundamentals that aren't changing. Another reason why is that these billionaires